Picture this. You open your fridge, reach past the milk and the leftovers, and your eyes land on a small block wrapped in wax paper. Cheese. For years you've heard it's too fatty, too salty, too indulgent. You've been told to treat it like a guilty pleasure. But what if the real story is far more interesting and far more hopeful, especially after 60 or 65? What if the right cheeses, chosen wisely and enjoyed in smart portions, could actually help you rebuild the very thing time tries to take from you, your muscle? Sarcopenia. The quiet, steady loss of muscle that affects millions of older adults isn't destiny. It steals strength, balance, and independence. Yes, but it's not inevitable. Today, we're going to turn something familiar into a powerful ally. I'm going to show you 3 specific cheeses, simple, everyday, affordable, that deliver the proteins, fats, amino acids, and minerals your aging muscles crave. These aren't party platter cheeses or empty indulgences. They're concentrated, practical tools that more and more clinicians and researchers recommend for preserving strength after 65. Stay with me to the end, because I'll walk you through exactly how to eat these cheeses for maximum benefit and minimum risk, what to choose, how much, and when to enjoy them, so your muscles make the most of every bite. I've spent nearly 3 decades helping older adults recover strength and mobility, and one lesson keeps proving true. The right foods, used consistently, can make a remarkable difference. The right cheese isn't just allowed. It can be one of the most effective daily foods for protecting the muscle you already have and rebuilding what you've lost. So grab a pen or open a notes app. We'll cover the 3 muscle-building cheeses you can start using today, plus timing tricks, simple recipes, and safety notes if you're watching sodium, lactose, or medications. By the end, you'll have a practical plan. You can start at your very next meal. Imagine feeling steadier on the stairs, stronger when you carry groceries, more confident getting up from a chair. That's the promise. And it might be sitting in your fridge already. Have you ever tried using cheese as a muscle helper before? If not, this might surprise you, so keep watching. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these healthy aging tips. As we pass the age of 60, our relationship with food changes in ways we often don't expect. A meal that once felt like just dinner now carries consequences for our bones, our heart, our memory, even our ability to get up from a chair without help. And when it comes to muscle, every bite matters more than it did decades earlier. Here's why. Beginning in our mid-62nd, most people lose between 3 and 8% of muscle mass per decade. That doesn't just mean less strength at the gym. It means walking more slowly, struggling to balance, finding it harder to carry shopping bags, and sometimes even a greater risk of falls. Sarcopenia is the medical word for this process. And while it is common, it is not inevitable. Protein is at the center of the battle. Your body can't store protein in the same way it stores fat. You need a steady supply each day, at each meal, for your muscles to repair and grow. But here's the catch. Older adults often eat less protein than they did before, sometimes because of smaller appetites, difficulty chewing, or simply the habit of lighter meals. At the same time, your muscles actually require more protein to respond. It's a double challenge. This is where certain cheeses become uniquely valuable. They are compact, concentrated, and easy to eat. A few spoonfuls of cottage cheese, an ounce of Parmesan grated over vegetables, a scoop of ricotta on toast, all deliver high-quality protein in a form that is both gentle on digestion and convenient for daily life. And it's not just about protein. Calcium, found in abundance in Parmesan, is essential not only for bones, but also for the actual contraction of muscles. Without enough calcium, your muscles literally cannot fire correctly. Ricotta offers whey protein, which is absorbed rapidly and helps after activity, while cottage cheese provides casein, which is slow-releasing and protects your muscles overnight. Together, these nutrients create a rhythm of muscle support throughout the day. European health organizations are paying attention. The NHS in the United Kingdom now emphasizes adequate protein at each meal for seniors. The European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, continues to highlight the importance of dairy products in maintaining bone and muscle health. And WHO Europe warns that loss of muscle mass is a key factor driving frailty and dependency in older populations. So why does this matter to you? Personally, because keeping your muscle means keeping your independence. It's the difference between enjoying a walk through your local market versus needing to sit and rest after 10 minutes. It's the difference between preparing your own meals or relying on someone else. Strong muscles mean freedom, dignity, and energy. And something as familiar as cheese, when chosen with care, can be a surprisingly powerful ally in making that possible. But here's where many people go wrong. When it comes to cheese and muscle health after 60, the danger isn't usually that people never eat cheese. The danger is in how they eat it or in the choices they make without realizing the hidden consequences. Let's look at some of the most common mistakes, and I'll explain why they matter, what the science says, and how real older adults across Europe have felt the effects. Mistake number 1. Choosing the wrong type of cheese. Not all cheeses are created equal. Many of the common varieties like processed slices, cream cheese spreads, or flavored snack packs are low in protein but high in saturated fat and sodium. They fill you up, but they don't feed your muscles. A patient of mine in Germany once told me she ate a cheese sandwich every day, thinking it was healthy. When we looked closely, it was white bread, butter, and 2 thin slices of processed cheese, barely 5 grams of protein total. Her muscle loss continued because the food wasn't giving her what she actually needed. Mistake number 2. Relying on cheese as the only protein source. Cheese can be powerful, but it cannot be your only protein. Your muscles require a full spectrum of amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that come from a variety of foods: fish, legumes, eggs, lean meats, and nuts. A gentleman in Spain proudly told me he had started eating Parmesan every day, but he ignored other proteins. Within months, he gained weight from excess calories, but didn't build the strength he hoped for. Balance is key. Mistake number 3. Eating too much at one time and too little at others. Many older adults follow the light, heavy pattern: small breakfast, small lunch, big dinner. The problem is that muscles can only use around 25-35 grams of protein at once. If you eat 60 grams of protein in one sitting, your body can't store the extra for later. It's wasted. I've seen patients in Italy who ate a hearty dinner with meat, pasta, and cheese, but skipped breakfast entirely. Their muscles remained undernourished for most of the day. Mistake number 4. Ignoring sodium content. Some cheeses, especially heavily processed ones, are packed with salt. For older adults managing blood pressure, this is a real risk. The European Society of Cardiology warns that high sodium intake directly increases risk of hypertension and cardiovascular disease. One of my UK patients, in her early 72nd, loved her supermarket cottage cheese, but after a checkup, we discovered her favorite brand had nearly 500 milligrams of sodium per half cup. She was unknowingly adding almost a quarter of her daily sodium limit in one snack. Mistake number 5. Skipping cheese because of lactose fears. Many older adults assume they can't tolerate cheese because of lactose intolerance. While this is true for some products, aged cheeses like Parmesan contain almost no lactose after long fermentation. Ricotta and cottage cheese contain small amounts, but usually far less than milk. I've worked with older adults in France who avoided all dairy for years, fearing stomach problems. When we carefully reintroduced low-lactose cheeses, they not only tolerated them, but also gained strength and energy. Mistake number 6, forgetting timing with activity. Protein works best when it meets muscle at the right moment. After even light activity like gardening, walking, or climbing stairs, your muscles are primed to absorb amino acids. Yet many older adults wait until hours later, missing this critical window. One study published in the British Journal of Nutrition showed that seniors who consumed protein within 2 hours of activity had significantly better muscle synthesis compared to those who delayed. Mistake number 7, believing more is always better. Finally, some people think that if cheese helps muscles, then doubling or tripling portions must be even better. Unfortunately, this often leads to excessive calories, digestive discomfort, or elevated cholesterol without extra muscle gain. A retired teacher in Sweden once joked that he was building muscle with cheese by eating half a wheel of Parmesan each week. What actually happened? His cholesterol spiked, and his doctor had to intervene. Moderation is essential. These mistakes are not about blaming yourself. They are about awareness. Once you know them, you can correct them. And the good news is that the solution isn't complicated. By avoiding processed varieties, spreading protein intake across the day, keeping sodium in check, embracing low-lactose options, and aligning your cheese intake with activity, you give your muscles exactly what they need. Now that we've covered the pitfalls, let's move into the positive side. Which cheeses should you actually choose, and how do they help protect your strength after 60? Now that we've cleared up the common mistakes, let's focus on the real stars, the cheeses that can actively support your muscles after 60. These are not indulgences. They are carefully chosen allies. And when used properly, they can transform your daily meals into a steady source of strength. Let's begin with the first 3. Cottage cheese, the gentle giant. Cottage cheese may not look glamorous. Some people associate it with old-fashioned diet plans. But beneath that humble appearance lies one of the most effective muscle-building foods for seniors. Half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese delivers about 14 grams of protein for just 80 calories. That means nearly 70% of its calories come from protein, far more efficient than most cheeses. But the real secret lies in its leucine content. Leucine is the amino acid that flips your body's muscle-building switch. Older adults need roughly 3 grams of leucine at each meal to stimulate growth. A half-cup serving of cottage cheese provides over 1 gram, moving you a third of the way toward that crucial target. Equally important is the type of protein it provides. Casein. Casein digests slowly, releasing amino acids into your bloodstream for 6 to 8 hours. Imagine it like a slow drip of fuel for your muscles. Eat cottage cheese before bed, and you'll be protecting your muscles even as you sleep. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that seniors who consumed casein-rich foods before bedtime experienced less overnight muscle breakdown. Practical tip: for breakfast, mix cottage cheese with berries and a drizzle of honey for protein plus antioxidants. For a savory twist, combine it with chopped cucumber, tomato, and fresh herbs. You can also blend it into smoothies for those who dislike the texture. Aiming for half to 1 cup daily, especially at breakfast, sets your muscles up for success. Parmesan, the concentrated powerhouse. If cottage cheese is the gentle giant, Parmesan is the concentrated warrior. Authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, aged at least 24 months, is one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can buy. Just 1 ounce, The size of your thumb packs over 10 grams of protein and around 330 milligrams of calcium. Why does this matter? Calcium isn't just for bones. Every muscle contraction depends on it. Without calcium, your muscles simply cannot fire. That's why Parmesan is so valuable. It delivers both protein and calcium in one bite. And because of its long aging process, Parmesan is virtually lactose-free and much easier to digest. Research from Italian nutrition studies highlights Parmesan's unique role in older adults' diets. Its pre-digested proteins, broken down during aging, are more bioavailable, meaning your body can use them efficiently. This is especially helpful when digestion slows with age. Practical tip: grate Parmesan fresh over scrambled eggs for breakfast. Sprinkle it on soups and salads at lunch, or add it to roasted vegetables at dinner. Just 1-2 ounces daily is enough to make a meaningful difference. Remember, freshly grated Parmesan offers better nutrition and flavor than pre-grated versions. San. Ricotta, the fast-acting healer. Ricotta is unique because it is made from whey, the liquid left after cheese making. Whey protein is the fastest absorbing protein you can eat. And that speed matters for seniors. Within 30-60 minutes of eating ricotta, those proteins are already at work repairing muscle fibers. A half-cup serving of whole milk ricotta contains about 14 grams of protein, including branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, that go directly to muscle tissue without needing to be processed by the liver. That makes ricotta perfect for the hours after physical activity, whether that's a walk, gardening, or light exercise. Ricotta is also naturally lower in sodium than most cheeses, averaging about 100 milligrams per half cup compared to over 400 in many others. For older adults managing blood pressure, that's a huge advantage. Studies in the Journal of Dairy Science show that whey protein, abundant in ricotta, supports not only muscle repair but also cardiovascular health, lowering blood pressure and improving arterial flexibility. Practical tip: for breakfast, spread ricotta on whole grain toast with honey and cinnamon. At lunch, use it as a dip mixed with herbs. At dinner, stuff it into roasted peppers or zucchini for a healthy dessert. Mix ricotta with cocoa powder and a touch of honey for a protein-rich chocolate mousse. These 3 cheeses, cottage cheese, Parmesan, and ricotta form a balanced trio. One provides slow-release protection. One delivers concentrated protein and calcium. And one acts fast to repair muscles right after activity. Together, they cover the full spectrum of what your aging muscles need. But the story doesn't end here. There are more foods and habits that complement these cheeses, offering even greater support for circulation, immunity, and overall vitality. We've already covered the big 3 cheeses that can protect your muscles after 60. But healthy aging isn't only about protein, it's also about variety. To keep your body strong, your circulation steady, your sleep restorative, and your immunity resilient, you need a mix of foods that work together. So let's add 3 more options that fit perfectly alongside our muscle-building cheeses. Greek yogurt, the balanced builder. Greek yogurt may not be a cheese, but it belongs to the same dairy family, and it offers a unique balance of fast and slow-digesting proteins. A 170-gram serving, about 6 ounces, provides 15 to 17 grams of protein with less lactose than regular yogurt. For older adults who sometimes struggle with digestion, that's a big plus. Greek yogurt is also rich in probiotics, live bacteria that support gut health. A healthy gut doesn't just help digestion. It improves absorption of nutrients, reduces inflammation, and even supports immunity. A study published by the European Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who consumed probiotic-rich yogurt showed better digestive comfort and fewer infections over the course of a year. Practical tip: have Greek yogurt with walnuts and berries for breakfast, or use it as a base for savory dips with garlic and cucumber. The combination of protein, probiotics, and healthy fats makes it a versatile, protective food. Walnuts, the circulation protector. Strong muscles need more than protein. They need oxygen and nutrients delivered efficiently by your blood. That's why circulation matters. And walnuts can help. A small handful, about 30 grams, provides plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation in blood vessels and support heart health. A long-term study from the University of Barcelona showed that older adults who added a daily serving of walnuts had better vascular function and lower risk of cardiovascular disease. For people over 60, that translates into better endurance for walking, climbing stairs, or gardening because your muscles are receiving steady blood flow. Practical tip: add walnuts to your morning cottage cheese. Sprinkle them over salads, or enjoy them as a simple afternoon snack. They combine beautifully with Parmesan or ricotta, enhancing both taste and health benefits. Oily fish, the muscle and brain ally. Cheese provides protein and calcium, but oily fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines add something different: long-chain omega-3 fatty acids called EPA and DHA. These compounds reduce inflammation, improve muscle recovery, and protect the brain from age-related decline. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that older adults who consumed oily fish twice a week had significantly better grip strength and physical performance than those who rarely ate fish. And the benefits don't stop with muscle. EPA and DHA also support memory and reduce the risk of cognitive decline, a double victory for healthy aging. Practical tip: aim for 2 servings of oily fish per week. Grill salmon with a sprinkle of Parmesan, or enjoy sardines on whole grain toast with ricotta. Pairing fish with cheese may sound unusual, but when balanced well, it can create delicious, nutrient-dense meals. By combining these foods with our 3 muscle-building cheeses, you create a well-rounded plan. Cottage cheese delivers slow-release protein. Ricotta gives fast-acting repair. Parmesan concentrates protein and calcium. Greek yogurt improves digestion and immunity. Walnuts strengthen circulation. And oily fish supports both muscles and the brain. This variety ensures your body isn't just surviving but thriving: stronger muscles, healthier blood vessels, steadier energy, and sharper cognition. And now, to make all this practical, let me show you a story, a real-life example of how these foods can change someone's life after 60 plan. Let me share with you the story of Maria, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Valencia, Spain. For most of her life, Maria was active and independent. She loved walking through the open-air markets, carrying her groceries home, and cooking meals for her grandchildren. But around her late 60s, she began to notice changes. At first, it was subtle. Climbing the stairs to her apartment left her more tired than before. Carrying a heavy shopping bag felt like a challenge. By 70, she found herself avoiding longer walks altogether because she feared stumbling on uneven pavement. Her doctor explained what was happening: sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle. Maria's instinct was to eat less. She thought that by cutting calories, she was doing the right thing for her health. In reality, she was depriving her body of the very protein it needed to fight muscle loss. Breakfast was usually coffee and toast with butter. Lunch was light, often just soup and bread. Dinner might include some meat, but it was her only significant source of protein in the day. The result? Her strength continued to decline. She became frustrated and even embarrassed when her grandchildren noticed she needed help lifting things. "Abuela, let me carry that for you," they would say gently. She smiled. But inside, it hurt. Everything began to change after a consultation with a nutrition specialist. The advice was simple: don't eat less. Eat smarter. Add muscle-building foods, especially those that are easy to digest and enjoyable. And so Maria's journey with cheese began. At breakfast, instead of plain toast, she started with half a cup of cottage cheese mixed with fresh berries from the market. At lunch, she sprinkled freshly grated Parmesan over her vegetable soup. In the afternoon, after her daily walk, she enjoyed a slice of whole grain bread topped with ricotta, honey, and cinnamon. On some days, she added walnuts to her cottage cheese, or paired ricotta with sardines on toast. The changes weren't immediate, but within a few weeks, Maria noticed she no longer felt as exhausted on the stairs. After 2 months, she was walking through the market again with confidence, carrying bags filled with oranges, tomatoes, and fresh herbs. Her doctor measured her progress: improved grip strength, better balance scores, and a slow but steady increase in lean muscle mass. More importantly, Maria's sense of independence returned. She no longer avoided outings with her friends. She started cooking larger meals again, using her new recipes with cheese and fish. And her grandchildren began asking for her special ricotta toast. Maria's story is not unusual. Across Europe, seniors who make small but consistent changes, adding the right foods at the right times, see dramatic improvements in daily life. It's not about fad diets or expensive supplements. It's about rediscovering simple, traditional foods in a new light. For Maria, the humble cheeses in her fridge became symbols of hope. Every spoonful of cottage cheese, every sprinkle of Parmesan, every spread of ricotta wasn't just food. It was a quiet act of resistance against muscle loss, a daily investment in her independence. Her story reminds us it's never too late. With the right knowledge and consistent habits, strength can return, confidence can grow, and life can feel full again, even in your 70s. We've covered a lot together today. Let's take a moment to bring it all back into focus. First, we uncovered the silent challenge of sarcopenia, the gradual muscle loss that affects so many after 60. We saw the mistakes people often make, relying on processed cheeses, skipping protein at breakfast, eating too much at one meal and too little at another, or avoiding dairy altogether out of fear of lactose or fat. Then we turned those mistakes into opportunities. We discovered the 3 powerhouse cheeses: cottage cheese for steady, slow-release protection, Parmesan for concentrated protein and calcium, and ricotta for fast-acting repair. Each one plays a unique role in keeping your muscles strong. We added supporting players: 2 Greek yogurt to improve digestion and immunity, walnuts to protect circulation, and oily fish to strengthen both muscles and the brain. Together, these foods create a daily rhythm of nourishment that fights muscle loss and promotes healthy aging. Through Maria's story, we saw how simple changes can transform daily life. From weakness and hesitation to renewed independence and confidence, her journey shows that it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. A spoonful here, a sprinkle there, a habit repeated each day. That's how muscle is preserved. That's how freedom is regained. So what about you? Which of these habits do you recognize in your own life? Do you skip protein at breakfast? Do you rely too much on dinner as your main meal? Or have you already tried adding some of these cheeses and noticed the difference? The truth is, your muscles are waiting for you to decide. Every day you make choices that either protect your strength or allow it to fade. And the best part? You don't need drastic changes. You don't need expensive supplements. You need only to choose wisely, consistently, and intentionally. If this video helped you, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss the practical, science-backed strategies we share here to help you age with strength, dignity, and vitality. And in our next video, we'll explore another everyday food, one that seems harmless, but could quietly undermine your health after 60. You won't want to miss it. Remember, it's never too late to start. Whether you are 60, 70, or even 80, the right foods can still make a difference. Your muscles can still respond, your body can still rebuild, and your independence, your energy, your confidence, they are still within reach. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself, will you start your day with toast and coffee? Or will you give your muscles the protein they need to thrive? The choice is yours, and I believe you will make the one that leads to a stronger, freer, healthier future. Here's to your health, your strength, and many more years of independence ahead.